An elephant recognized the veterinarian who had saved him 12 years earlier. Just watch how the elephant reacted. This veterinarian was deep in the jungle when he heard a familiar trumpet from an elephant he had once helped. What happened next astonished everyone who heard the tale. Dr. Kiran Manad, a wildlife veterinarian, was feeling restless at his camp in the Rayang woodland of eastern Thailand. Seeking some fresh air, he decided to take a walk. He admired the natural beauty around him, appreciating the park's dedication to preserving wildlife in their natural habitat. Lost in thought, he wandered deeper into the forest, unaware of how far he had strayed from his base. Suddenly, a piercing trumpet echoed through the trees, stopping him in his tracks. His heart pounded with surprise. For a brief moment, fear crept in, but he quickly laughed at himself. Shaking off the nerves, he decided it was best to head back to camp. Elephants were gentle giants, but giants nonetheless. He had no intention of disturbing them. Yet, something about the sound pulled at his curiosity. There was a familiarity to the call he couldn't ignore. Giving in, he carefully moved toward the source. With every step, the ground trembled beneath him, and the jungle resonated with the deep trumpets of the herd. Finding a higher vantage point, he peered down to see a group of elephants leisurely feeding on leaves and fruits from a tall tree. These creatures had endured so much. Many of them were survivors of poaching, naturally wary of humans. Kiran remained cautious, observing from a distance. Their resilience amazed him, reminding him of the countless animals he had treated over the years. He shifted his position to get a better view, but miscalculated his footing. Suddenly, he lost his balance and tumbled down a small cliff. The forest, once quiet, erupted with the noise of his fall. 3 nearby elephants turned their massive heads in his direction. A shiver ran down Kiran's spine as he froze, hoping they wouldn't perceive him as a threat. The elephants, however, locked eyes with him, expressions both curious and cautious. Holding his breath, Kiran waited. The vet and the herd were at an impasse. It seemed he would have to make the first move. He attempted to rise, wanting to signal he meant no harm, but a sharp pain shot through his knee. Groaning, he realized he couldn't stand. Panic seeped in as he watched the largest elephant begin advancing toward him. Was it agitated? Or masking its own uncertainty with aggression? Regret filled Kiran. He should have returned to camp earlier. His anxiety mounted, but then something unexpected happened. The elephant's demeanor shifted. Curiosity replaced hostility. Still in pain, Kiran couldn't understand this sudden change, but then something clicked. The familiar trumpet that had drawn him here. Something about it tugged at his memory. Then, with a mix of confusion and realization, his eyes caught distinctive markings on the elephant's ear. His heart skipped a beat. This wasn't just any elephant. It was the very same one he had saved 12 years ago. Uncertain but compelled by the possibility, Kiran extended his hand toward the massive creature. Fear and anticipation gripped him as he waited for its response. The enormous elephant, as if understanding his gesture, reached out its trunk to meet his hand. The moment they touched, a wave of emotion washed over him. The bond formed years ago had not faded. The elephant, recognizing its rescuer after so long, expressed a tenderness beyond words. Memories resurfaced, bridging the years that had passed. Kiran was transported back to that fateful encounter. It was in this very woodland, over a decade ago, when Kiran, then a young veterinarian, had been on a safari. Driving through the dense jungle, his keen eyes had caught sight of a frail young elephant, later known to him as Sundar, standing weakly at the roadside, barely clinging to life. The haunting trumpet of despair filled the air as the elephant struggled to move. As an experienced vet, Kiran had immediately recognized the dire situation. Slamming his brakes, he examined the young elephant, noticing the severe swelling on its face, eyes, neck, and abdomen. The creature had lost a dangerous amount of weight, its fever burning hot. Kiran's heart sank. Sundar was in critical condition. Drawing on his expertise, he swiftly diagnosed Sundar with severe trypanosomiasis, a life-threatening disease transmitted by the tsetse fly. Without immediate medical intervention, the young elephant wouldn't survive. Kiran was filled with compassion as he watched the struggling elephant, determined to do whatever it took to save Sundar. Acting swiftly, he grabbed his satellite phone and contacted his medical team, urgently describing the young elephant's dire condition. He shared his location and emphasized the need for a vehicle that could safely transport the sick animal. As Kiran awaited their arrival, he cautiously approached Sundar, dart gun in hand, prepared to administer a tranquilizer if necessary. To his surprise, the weakened elephant showed no signs of aggression, prompting him to lower his weapon. Sundar, too frail to remain standing, collapsed before him, breathing heavily, each breath seemingly a battle for survival. The sight was heartbreaking. Without hesitation, Kiran sprinted to the elephant's side. Sundar's half-closed eyes reflected exhaustion and despair. Yet there was something else. A silent plea for life. Locking eyes with the suffering creature, Kiran felt a surge of empathy, sensing a growing connection between them. He whispered words of reassurance, hoping to instill a will to fight in the young elephant. Soon, the medical team arrived with a suitable vehicle. Observing Sundar's passive demeanor, Kiran convinced them that sedation was unnecessary. The team shifted their focus to the daunting task of loading the massive but weakened elephant onto the truck. Despite the challenges, they worked together, ensuring Sundar's comfort during the journey. Determined to see him through his recovery, Kiran rode alongside him, monitoring his vitals and collecting diagnostic data as they traveled to the veterinary hospital. Upon arrival, the team carefully unloaded Sundar, guiding him toward the treatment chamber. Summoning his last reserves of strength, Sundar took a few steps before collapsing once again. The atmosphere inside the hospital grew tense, thick with the weight of his struggle. Urgency filled the air as the veterinary team prepared for the battle against the illness threatening Sundar's life. Initial treatments showed promising results, offering a glimmer of hope. Kiran remained by Sundar's side, offering constant medical care and reassurance. As days turned into weeks, signs of recovery began to emerge, strengthening the bond between vet and patient. Kiran's dedication was unwavering. He spent countless hours tending to Sundar, ensuring he felt supported both physically and emotionally. However, the young elephant's recovery took a sudden turn for the worse. His fever spiked, and with the hospital lacking advanced medical equipment, the situation grew critical. Progress stalled, and fears mounted that Sundar might not survive. Refusing to give up, Kiran doubled his efforts, determined to find a way forward. In the face of uncertainty, Kiran stayed close to Sundar, offering words of encouragement. Miraculously, the young elephant seemed to respond positively, as if drawing strength from the vet's comforting presence. Perhaps the warmth reminded him of his mother, or maybe it was simply the reassurance of someone who genuinely cared. Whatever the reason, Sundar's determination to fight reignited. Days later, a wave of joy swept through the hospital as Sundar took his first steps without struggle. His triumphant walk around the facility was a testament to his resilience and the unwavering dedication of the medical team. With each passing day, his strength returned, and soon he was fully recovered, strong, vibrant, and ready to embrace life once more. Grateful for his second chance, Sundar expressed his appreciation in the only way he knew how. Whenever Kiran was near, he would trumpet joyfully, reaching out with his trunk to pull the vet closer. The connection they shared went beyond words, a bond forged in survival, trust, and mutual respect. Finally, the day arrived for Sundar to return to them. Wild, the moment was bittersweet for Kiran. He was overjoyed that Sundar had regained his strength, but saddened by the inevitable farewell. Knowing the elephant needed to rejoin his herd, Kiran prepared himself for the difficult goodbye. As Sundar took his first steps toward freedom, tears welled in Kiran's eyes, a mixture of pride and sorrow. It was a moment he would never forget. a testament to the incredible connection between humans and the wild creatures they dedicate their lives to saving. Dr. Kieran's face was overcome with emotion as he watched the elephant move away, stopping briefly to trumpet, as if bidding a final farewell. The sound of gratitude lingered in the air, and Kieran couldn't hold back his tears. His colleagues, equally moved by the moment, handed him a handkerchief to wipe his eyes. After expressing one last thank you, Sundar continued his journey, gradually vanishing into the dense jungle. For Dr. Kieran, this farewell marked a defining moment, one that would remain etched in his heart forever. Sundar, with his gentle soul and lasting impact, had left an indelible mark on the vet's life. The heartfelt goodbye only strengthened Kieran's resolve to protect wildlife, fueling his dedication as a veterinarian and an advocate for animal conservation. This passion eventually led him back to Rayong woodland in Thailand years later, where, surrounded by lush greenery, he once again found himself face to face with the very elephant whose life he had saved. The reunion was nothing short of extraordinary. As Dr. Kieran looked into the wise, knowing eyes of his old friend, he was astounded that Sundar recognized him. After all, more than a decade had passed. But elephants are known for their remarkable memory, their large and highly developed brains, allowing them to retain vast amounts of information. The initial rescue had clearly left an enduring impression on Sundar's mind. Feeling the pain from his dislocated knee, Dr. Kieran released his hands from the elephant's trunk and retrieved a scarf from his waistbag. Quickly tying it around the injury, Sundar watched intently as Kieran, with his expert touch, skillfully realigned the joint, using the scarf as an improvised brace. A sharp groan of pain escaped him, prompting him to take painkillers from his bag. Gritting his teeth, he managed to stand, though he limped as he stretched his hands toward Sundar once more. Now fully grown and stronger than ever, Sundar had not forgotten their bond. Towering above, the elephant gently pulled Kieran closer with his trunk, echoing the same gesture from 12 years prior. With a triumphant trumpet, Sundar seemed to announce his joy, filling the air with a melody of recognition and affection. Despite the lingering pain in his knee, Dr. Kieran was overcome with happiness. The years had passed, but their connection remained unbroken. But the surprises weren't over. Sundar's affectionate trumpet signaled the approach of two younger elephants who had been observing from a distance. As they neared, Kieran's heart swelled with delight. These were Sundar's offspring, a nearly month-old baby and another still quite young. Sundar seemed to be proudly presenting his children to the man who had once saved his life, while also introducing them to a trusted friend. The two baby elephants instantly captivated Dr. Kieran with their playful nature and wide, curious eyes. Their tiny trunks explored their surroundings with enthusiasm, radiating pure innocence and joy. As a proud father, Sundar nudged them forward, encouraging them to interact with the human he held dear. Overwhelmed, Kieran knelt down to be at eye level with them. The babies, intrigued by this new presence, flapped their small ears in excitement, hesitating only briefly before extending their trunks toward him. Choked with emotion, the vet whispered, a gentle greeting, extending a cautious hand. In a touching display of trust, the young elephants responded with soft touches, exploring his fingers with their tiny trunks. This moment, this undeniable continuation of trust and connection, proved that kindness and empathy could span generations. After the heartwarming reunion, Dr. Kieran realized he needed to return to the base. His colleagues were likely worried about his absence, yet his injured knee made navigating the rough terrain difficult. As if understanding his old friend's struggle, Sundar took the lead. It was now his turn to repay the favor. The majestic elephant extended his trunk, wrapping it around Kieran's midsection before gently lifting him up. At first, Kieran felt a flicker of fear, but he quickly realized Sundar was holding him with great care. As the elephant started, walking back toward the base, Kieran's heart swelled with gratitude. Sundar was guiding him home, ensuring his safety just as Kieran had done for him all those years ago. After several minutes, they reached the base. Kieran's colleagues, initially worried about his prolonged absence, were left speechless at the sight before them. The massive elephant, their friend and former patient, was escorting Kiran back like a guardian. With the same gentleness he had shown all along, Sundar carefully placed Kiran down in front of his colleagues, as if symbolically entrusting him to their care. As Kiran bid farewell to his old friend, Sundar responded with a powerful trumpet before turning back toward his herd. The vet watched in awe as the colossal giant disappeared into the jungle, leaving behind a tale of an unbreakable bond. Back at the base, his colleagues gathered around, eager to hear every detail of the remarkable reunion. Did this story touch your heart? How would you react if a giant elephant lifted you with its trunk? Would you be scared or amazed? Have you ever reunited with a beloved pet after years apart? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel. The legend of Sundar will forever serve as a testament to the power of compassion and the enduring connection between humans and nature. Thank you for listening, and see you in the next video. Have a wonderful day.